Chicago Bulls fans just received the absolute worst news they could have gotten down the stretch of this season, that Lonzo Ball would miss the remainder of the season after planning to undergo a third surgery on his left knee. The third surgery raised the question of whether or not we might ever see Ball back on the NBA court again. Unfortunately, this whole situation just isn't his fault. I feel as though this should be made clear. Having horrible injury luck just isn't anybody's fault. Lonzo just got unbelievably unlucky. This is going to be his third surgery and that he's receiving on his left knee in the past 14 months. And he hasn't appeared on the NBA floor since January 14, 2022. It's been oddly quiet in his camp throughout the season on why he hasn't fully recovered to go out there and at least practice. The news that the third surgery was on the way was something we were expecting following the delay in a return. The fact that it's come so late in the season means that he's likely already going to be ruled out for the entire 2023-2024 campaign as well, making it 2 full years without basketball for him. This surgery is one of the most brutal ones yet though. It's reported that he's going to be getting a cartilage transplant in his knee. Most reports that I've seen on the matter state that it means his meniscus has to be absolutely shredded if Lonzo and the rest of his organization felt there's no other way back on the court. It's not exactly a procedure you see often in NBA players, and the past 2 that have undergone it haven't seen tremendous results. 2 players who have seen this operation in the past has been Jason Richardson and Festus Ezeli. After Richardson received this surgery, he missed 2 full years of basketball. He came back to NBA for 19 games but retired right after that because he was worried about never walking correctly again. As for Ezeli, he missed 4 full years of basketball and returned to play 2 games with the Westchester Knicks. After 2 games, he re-injured his knee and never played again. This is not the trend that you want to see when you're talking about Lonzo Ball and the outlook he has for his career moving forward. Obviously, he hasn't retired and it's not likely that he does anytime soon. The journey that's out in front of him is grueling though, and he could potentially be out of basketball for 4 full years if the surgery has a long recovery period. At that point, he could be nearing 30 years old and his prime would be behind him. Would any team even really give him opportunity to shine? Would we never get to see what he would really do on a basketball court? These are the questions that we hope we don't have to answer, but it's a reality that we all have to fear for now about this surgery that has been confirmed. As for Lonzo, he himself released a statement to the fans and the NBA community after the report of his surgery was released. He said, "This has been a frustrating process, but I'm confident these next steps are the best path forward." These past months were looking up for Lonzo as he has been slowly making progress in his recovery. However, himself, Clutch Sports, and the Chicago Bulls were discussing what the future could be and how they could get him back on the floor in the quickest and safest way possible. After all, Lonzo was still not able to run, cut, or even jump without creating pain in his knee. Despite the slight progress, it was clear that his recovery would have taken a few more years or longer than that considering the pain. This injury means that he's likely going to be missing the rest of his contract with Chicago as well. He inked a 4-year, $80 million deal after a great opening season with the organization when he was healthy. This is the second season already being wrapped up, and the remaining 2 will likely be played out with him on the bench with his injuries. In just his first season with the Bulls after leaving the New Orleans Pelicans, Lonzo averaged 13 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 5.1 assists per game. He was shooting a blistering 42% from behind the 3-point line and was flat out one of the best perimeter defenders and hustle guys. When he was fully healthy, the Bulls were 27-13 at the start of the year, while being highly ranked both offensively and defensively compared to other franchises. Without Ball, Chicago has massively struggled, sitting below 500 by at least 5 games and ranking towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Not to mention that they are severely lackluster both offensively and defensively nowadays. Ball has been ridiculed a lot throughout his young career, but his improvement each season was unbelievable to see. He was one of those players that just helped teams win, even if the box score didn't always show it. Chicago is certainly hoping to get him back on the floor sooner rather than later, specifically in the next 2.5 years, so he doesn't miss his entire 4-year contract with the team, or so they don't cut him from the roster. Personally, I don't see Lonzo Ball retiring. It's a dangerous surgery with a bad track record among other NBA players, but everybody seems confident that this is the best path forward. If all the specialists and such believe that, then we have to assume that they're on the right track. After all, nobody wants to see Lonzo step away from the game with so much left to give the Bulls and the league itself, especially after his best season as a pro was his last one.